11 most dangerous trust powers. It's possible that, you may have, you may have heard of trust. I'm sure you have if you're checking out the foundation. You may be looking to create a trust, or possibly, you're just learning about trust. Maybe or possibly you are looking to, maybe set up a trust, but you're not, in trustee training, so to speak. And it's just a situation where you're going to do it anyways, right? That may be it. So, the biggest, when it comes to the inception of or the creation, let's just say that, of a trust, and specifically a private trust or private contractual entity, is the indenture, the contract itself, right? And then, of course, we could sit here and discuss and speak on the importance and necessity of proper administration, right? But the administration of, any trust is going to be heavily predicated, if not 100% predicated, on the contract indenture. You got to follow the contract. You got, that's what our job is as trustee, right? So, some of the biggest or most coveted secrets, in the private and even in the public, are the language. The language of, of the indenture itself, the contract, the language of the contract of the trust, or even in the public, the language of the trust agreement, the agreement in the public. But what is the language? The language is, it's the words that are used to describe the terms and conditions and, the certain items of the trust indenture, right? But I guess to be more specific is the terms or the words, the language of the trust is describing certain, if not just situations, but certain powers, abilities, and responsibilities of the trustees, right? Maybe what the beneficiaries can and cannot do, that's going to be represented in the language, but it comes from, ultimately, not only experience, but it comes from the knowledge that is generally required in administration of a trust. So, in order to perfect trust language, the indenture language, right? It's important to know the powers. You gotta have the powers of the trustee. What is the corpus? What is income? You gotta have all of the laws and the rules and the stipulations and the terms and different functions. And all of these have to be established, referenced, or strictly and specifically addressed in the indenture. And in order to address it, you got to understand the concepts. In order to understand the concepts, you have to be introduced to specific concepts in order to study them and understand them, right? So a lot of people get into, what you can do or what can be done or what the positives or the powers are, of the trust, and what the powers are, wow. Or let's just say a lot of people focus on the do's of trust, right? So, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I could do probably a years and years worth of shows, of episodes of the foundation on the do's of trust, right? It would not be difficult, in my opinion. But the don'ts, right? Let's talk about the don'ts. And that's what we're going to get into with the 11 most dangerous trust powers. Now, as I said, this is from a document. All I got to do, what's the date? October 6th. October 6th, 10/6 document. Email secretary. Email secretary at welcometothefoundation.com. Very simple instructions. Secretary at welcometothefoundation.com. October 6th, 10/6 show document. And you will receive the document that I'm reading from or referencing from. Now, this document is pretty extensive. Now, there's a lot more in this document than just, these 11 most dangerous trust powers. So I think it's, either way, it's a win-win. It's a 100% win-win. If you email the secretary at welcometothefoundation.com. You understand? I hope you understand. I hope I've been clear. The biggest thing that we're looking to avoid, right, is the improper designation of the trust that we as trustees are administering, right? Improper designation or classification of the actual trust itself, okay? What do I mean? The IRS recognizes 3 different types of trusts. That's grantor, simple, and complex. 3 different types of trusts. The IRS recognizes. It's like, this is what you get into. This is the issues that arise. And knowing this really helps. All right? So the trust, or the type of trust the IRS recognizes that we administer here at the foundation, it's a complex trust, all right? Now, the worst misclassification that can happen with a complex trust is for it to be, classified or alleged to be a grantor trust. A grantor trust is it's looked at basically as an alter ego. It has no distinction between the grantor and the trust itself. It's an alter ego. It's not a separate and distinct entity, right? So why does that matter? It matters because what most people won't describe openly when discussing trust is the reason or the primary motivation for the majority of people who are looking to, go private or, restructure their estate with private trust structures is, and a lot of people can't articulate this, but the primary reason, the impetus, what is prompting this move is to move out of the individual 1040 individual tax game, requirements, ceilings, deductions, whatever, to move out of that and to get into the 1041, the trust and estate tax law or tax game. And if you know what you're doing, you have the proper structures, you have the proper knowledge, education with regards to administration of these types of structures, it's much, much, much more beneficial. And that's one of the main reasons that most people are looking to, quote, go private, to set up their private estate, to get their private trust. I got my 9(8) number. Okay, well, what's the main thing is that, look, people are trying to reduce their taxes. So I'm going to tell you straight up, one of the main requirements in order to do so is to unequivocally substantiate a complex trust versus a grantor trust, hands down, right? So if a grantor trust, or look, if a grantor of a trust has too many powers, it will be treated basically as if there were no trust, or as if the property were still in the hands of the grantor. It eliminates the income tax advantages of trust. For all the income of the trust will be taxed to the grantor. Period. This is it. Also, let's say, you're dealing with a family trust, right? And the grantor is your grandmother, your grandfather, I don't know. Your mother, your father, who knows, great uncle. And they passed away. And you're like, well, the grantor is not here, so there's no concern for there be an allegation of this is a grantor trust. Well, you are mistaken. Grantor trust rules still apply. Well, there's the grantor is deceased. That doesn't matter. They look to apply those grantor trust rules to trustees, individually and collectively. Such as, y'all bought a car with the trust funds, right? And just these two trustees utilize that car. Well, actually, that's not trust property. It's their property, and the amount that you used to purchase the car was actually income that you received from the trust as trustees. And that income wasn't claimed, it wasn't reported, there was no taxes paid on that income. So they look to apply grantor trust rules to specific trustees and specific transactions. So this is serious. The 11 most dangerous trust powers. Let's jump into them. Number 1, property of the trust will revert to the grantor of the trust within 10 years or any amount of time. Any reversion, any power to reclaim any property in the trust by the grantor or individual trustees, that's some grantor. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. It's a dangerous power for a trustee or a grantor to have. Don't do it. I suggest you don't do it. You want to do it? Play around. Play around. Number 2, close relatives are the entire board of trustees. Close relatives. Of course, you'd be like, well, so there's a family trust, man. And okay, so there's definitely trusts where the board is all close family members. It happens. When you get into, wealthy families and stuff, they'll typically hire a financial advisor, some fiduciary financial advisor, or financial attorney or something like that, and appoint them to the board. But they're, this person is acting under, that specific trustee appointment, and their powers are subject to the contract indenture itself. But they'll have an outside, a person on the board that is not a family member, that's not kin, that's outside the direct family members. Now, you may be administering a trust that may have some of these characteristics. And I would say the more characteristics that you see or identify with, the bigger the problem is. Now is having a single characteristic associated with your administration going to kill and not, just sink all boats? Not necessarily. The grantor reserves a power to determine distributions or benefits from the trust. Oops. That's a dangerous power for the grantor. Number 4, the benefits of the trust can flow to the grantor without the approval of an adverse party or adverse trustee. And remember I said they'll look to treat or apply these grantor rules to specific trustees and transactions. Remember that. Number 5, the income of the trust can be used to pay personal debts. Such a trust is called a grantor trust, and all the income is taxed to the grantor or creator, not to the trust nor to the beneficiaries. Number 6, power to revoke the trust. And we simply avoid that by, it being an irrevocable trust, right? Right? Number 7, power for anyone to distribute the corpus or income to himself or herself. Sounds like a grantor trust. Grantor dance to me. You got power to distribute the corpus or income to yourself? Yeah, good luck with that. Number 8, power to use trust property to support someone the grantor is legally obligated to support. This can make the trust grantor taxable. Number 9, power to deal with the trust for less than an adequate consideration. In the sense of it being a business trust. In the business trust, it charges a certain fee for its services. But somewhere in the trust indenture, there's a power for the grantor or any of the trustees to get those same services for a discount, or what is also known as less than adequate consideration or compensation. That's a dangerous power right there. That's very, very dangerous. Number 10, power for the grantor or trustee to borrow from the trust without adequate interest or adequate security. And you'll have, attorneys say you can't. If you're a trustee, the trust can't make a loan to you, or it can't make a loan to any related party. You can't do that. Well, that sounds like a statutory, some sort of statutory regulation or something of that nature. Now, in the private, you could definitely, loans to beneficiaries, loans to trustees from the trust. Okay, you want to paper that up, you better have a contract. There better be adequate interest, and the trustees better have ensured that adequate security against the loan was acquired. Can I get a loan? Can I get a loan from the trust? I'm one of the trustees. Cool. What you got to put up? You got a car? What you got? A house? What you got? I don't have a car. I don't have a horse. You ain't got no security? Nope. Well, hey. Well, look. Can't do it. All right. I got some silver. Well, how much loan do you want? I want $20,000 a loan. Well, you better give us $25,000 in gold or silver or both, and we'll give you the cash. And when you pay the trust back, and then we'll give you your silver back. But there's going to be interest. How do you do this? You go around to credit unions in the area, different banks in the area, and you attempt to ascertain what they would charge for a personal loan. What's the interest? How many points would you charge on a personal loan? What's the lowest points that you charge on a personal loan, and then record that information. Where'd you get it from? What did they say? What was the lowest points? Did they have a brochure? Did they have a little pamphlet that quoted that it was 4% interest on this, 2% interest on that? Substantiate that. So it can be easily stated that, hey, this loan, we went to this place, we went to this place, we went to this place, and this is the average or median rate of interest. So that's what we went by. You better substantiate. Look, we got about 60 seconds left in the broadcast. We're gonna go over a little bit. Call in number is 563-999-3625. 563-999-3625 if you're checking out the episode on the road. I'm just playing. You might want to call in. You don't want to call in. You won't get cut off. I promise you. We got less than a minute. It's happening. So I want to be clear. A lot of people, get misled with this. You can't borrow from the trust. Look, you better substantiate it. You better make it look really good, or don't do it. I was just straight up suggest you don't do it. If if you can't substantiate it properly, if you can't show, what was the due diligence that the Board of Trustees performed in order to ascertain the proper interest rate that's going to be charged on this loan, what was the proper security that was encumbered in order to secure this loan so that the trust would not take a loss. Otherwise, don't do it. Hands down, leave it alone. Go to sleep. Take a nap. Number 11, and this is it. This is 11 dangerous powers, right? Number 11, power for the grantor or trustee or non-adverse party to decide who gets how much of the property or income of the trust. Now, these are all individuals. Individual grantor, individual trustee, individual non-adverse party. Now, this has something to say about the Board of Trustees. Of course, the Board of Trustees are going to have the power to decide who gets how much of the property or income of the trust. That's the Board of Trustees. But any single person or individual having any of these 11 powers is very dangerous when you're looking to make it clear and substantiate clearly that this trust by the substantive administration is actually a complex trust versus a grantor trust. Real quick, number 1, property of the trust reverts to the grantor within 10 years or at all. Number 2, close relatives are the entire Board of Trustees. Number 3, the grantor or trustees reserves power to determine distributions or benefits from the trust. Remember, these will be individuals, the Board of Trustees. Number 4, the benefits of the trust can flow to the grantor without the approval of an adverse party or the Board of Trustees. Number 5, the income of the trust can be used to pay personal debts. Number 6, there's a power to revoke the trust. Anytime there's a power to revoke the trust, woo, man, that looks like a grantor trust for real, for real. Number 7, power for anyone to distribute the corpus or income to themselves. Number 8, power to use trust property to support someone the grantor or individual trustee is legally obligated to support. It doesn't matter. Is it contractually evidence that the trust is to support this person, or is the grantor supposed to be support, or is the trustee? We got to figure that out. Number 9, power to deal with the trust for less than adequate consideration. Why would you have these powers? Number 10, power for the grantor, borrower, or trustee, to borrow from the trust without adequate interest or adequate security. That's a big no-no. It's dangerous. Number 11, power for the grantor or trustee, individual trustee, or non-adverse party to decide who gets how much of the property or income of the trust. Bonus, 3 devices that can give you more flexibility while appearing to restrict the grantor's control over the trust. Number 1, first device, use of an independent trustee. Number 2, providing that distributions must be made in accordance with a definite standard. Number 3, providing that distributions must be approved by an adverse party. I would also say the Board of Trustees, but if you're talking about distributions to beneficiaries, the Board of Trustees may not be enough. You may need an adverse party simply because the beneficiaries of a family trust are more than likely going to be related to the members on the Board of Trustees because it's a family trust. So the board voting for certain types of distributions to the beneficiaries, I mean, come on. If you think about it, that could be a bias. Now, if you have an adverse trustee, someone in there who's not family, who votes as well, it's going to make it look much more substantive. How serious do you want to get with this? It's a lifestyle. I say it all the time. Going private and administering private trusts and businesses, it's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. It gets real deep. And there's a certain requirement, and I would say a universal requirement, that once you know something or have gained a portion of knowledge, that knowledge must be applied or implemented. And if you don't, it is absolutely detrimental to what you're doing. So knowing these 11 most dangerous trust powers not only gives you an extra amount of knowledge, but also comes along with that knowledge or that power, the responsibility to apply it and to apply it properly. Now, I'm always here to help. You can email me, admin@welcometothefoundation.com. If you want to, book a consultation. If you can also go to welcometothefoundation.com. You can book a consultation from there. Also, I'm very, very, very familiar with, private structures, trusts, foundations, charitable trusts, as well as corporate structures, specifically LLCs, business credit, bank accounts, brokerage account. Just the stuff that I'm familiar with is the stuff that I do, And these things I do with corporations. These things I do with private contractual entities, whether it's protection or funds, asset protection, whatever it is. And that, ultimately and more you can find in trustee training. If you're interested in trustee training, we're about to start a new session. I would say, hey, now's the time. Now's the time. Pull the trigger. Pull the trigger. Don't be scared. But repetition is key. Ultimately, repetition is key. Also, doing the work, doing the requisite study, reading. That's also key. Being humble, and acknowledging and admitting that there's things that you don't know. So that acknowledgement can lead to us learning some of these things that we don't know. Some of these things that we know that we don't know, It's big. It's a big deal, It's especially when you're talking about trustee training and actually creating your private structures, your business trust, your asset trust, your family trust, creating or, maybe reestablishing or, restructuring that corporation or that LLC so that it fits properly with this, these other structures that you've created, and actually planning for succession, getting the information, the know-how, and how to properly not only create, but start, grow, and protect this private estate that you've created. not only from, creditors and litigators, but, the state, probate courts, other different actors, maybe an auntie who's very overbearing or an uncle who, you may not trust too much to have, your child's best interest or even their child's best interest at heart. So you want to ensure that, as a beneficiary, your child or your niece or your nephew or whoever it is taken care of by the trust, because the trust has no feelings. The trust itself has no favorites. It has no agenda. People have agenda. Contracts do not. But, as I said, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. And, if it's something that you're interested in pursuing, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. And, we can just take it from there. It's not for everyone, though. And just let that be known. But if it is for you, it would be an honor to assist you in your private transition. So, excuse me. I appreciate y'all checking out the show. I appreciate y'all rocking with the foundation. I appreciate y'all being humble, putting your head down, getting your information, getting your knowledge and applying it so that not only can you change your life, but you can change the trajectory of your family. Not only the trajectory of wealth, but the trajectory of class and ability and a lot of different things. And it all starts with you. And that's why, especially with the trustees, I really respect y'all. I really respect y'all. I know what y'all going through. I know what you're doing. I know what you're attempting. And I know at times it feels like too much, and, it feels like, no one's got your back, and, maybe you called me a couple of times, and, I didn't answer or haven't called you back yet, and it feels like I don't even have your back. But look, just keep it moving. Keep going. Keep trying. Keep pushing forward. And do your best not to don't take things personal. Everyone is the star of their own movie. It's not nothing personal to you. Most people don't even think about you as much as you think about yourself, or as much as you think people are thinking of you. Think about it, right? But the trustees, the trustees in training, man, do I respect y'all, and I believe in y'all. And those of you who maybe aren't in, the trustee training here at the foundation, maybe you're on the fence, or maybe you tried to, go with a different guru, and you maybe feel like you got kind of taken advantage of, or you just didn't get the information, or downright the brother or sister disappeared on you, straight up ghosted you. Or let's say you've been going to the law library for many years, and maybe you have a trust indenture, maybe you've been administering, maybe whatever stage that you're in. I really respect you. I really respect you, and I respect what you're attempting to do. I really do. It's in my opinion, it's something to be applauded, and most people, aren't even going to know what you're doing. Most people will never know what you overcame and what you accomplished. Most people will never know enough to say, "Hey, good job. You took your whole family private, your whole estate, and it's protected from the state and the federal government, and you taught your children and your nieces and your nephews and your cousins and even your auntie and your uncles and your dad and your mom. You taught them how to, administer the estate. You taught them about the succession. You named them to the board of trustees. You made it worth it to them. You got the whole estate up and running, and then they started seeing not only the difference in you, but the difference in the wealth of your estate. And they wanted to get involved. Say, what'd you do? You say, hey, man, I just conveyed, my property into the trust. What's it for? It's for the family. It's for the children. It's for the, really? Who's all the beneficiaries? Oh, well, actually, everybody's a beneficiary. You're a beneficiary, too. Your children are. Really? Man, what? When they understand what you're doing, they understand that you're doing it was real, man, people start helping you. Well, what can I do to help? And if they don't, that's cool. No hard feelings. But do what you do. I believe in what you're doing. I really do. I believe in what you're doing. I believe in why you're doing it. And I believe in you achieving your overall goals. As to, why you do such a thing is, listen to shows like this, the Foundation here on High Frequency Radio Network. Brothers just sitting here up here talking about trust and stuff and foundation and corporations and business credit and stuff. This dude be talking about this stuff for 5, 6, 7 years. And you're sitting here listening to the stuff, You're the one I'm talking to. I believe in you. You got this. You got this. With or without the foundation, with or without Sot L. I know this to be true. But, if it's gonna be with, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. Shoot me an email. Let's connect. Tap in. This is a whole movement. This is the foundation, but we are high frequency. This is it's all of us syncing up. Get on the right frequency and vibrating. So, I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to assisting you. I'm not going to take any callers. I'm ready to get up out of here. I got ants in my pants, man. Been sitting down for this long. I got that ADHD, DHDHD, DDT, bro. I got that DDT. That's what I got. I got that DDT, Bree. So, can't do it. But I appreciate you checking out the show. I appreciate you investing in yourself, in your knowledge, in your comprehension. And I appreciate you, I appreciate you, being down with the foundation, being a follower, being a listener, being whatever it is, whatever you want to consider yourself. I want to say I appreciate you checking out the foundation. Whether you're brand new, it's your first time, or this is your 1500th time. I definitely appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. I believe in y'all, So, welcome to thefoundation.com. At the minimum, sign up for the email list. Those of you who have been on the fence about, checking out the Trustee training, make sure you get on that email list. We got something rocking for you. You can email me, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. Closed mouth don't get fed. I've been known to negotiate and be negotiable. And I ain't talking on the instrument, Bree. So, hit me up. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all checking out the show. I appreciate you investing in you, investing in your private education. This year's coming to a RZA. It's coming to a RZA. All this crazy stuff, debt ceilings and defaults and Evergrande and just look, man, panoramas and you got the poke and you got the poke and now you're gonna have the poke. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, right? There's all types of stuff going on. So with all of these things that are going on, it may be hard to keep your head, stay grounded. I just want you to know, and I want you to think about this. Just be honest. You've handled everything else. You've made it through all of the things, the trials and tribulations and the impossibilities in your life. You've made it through all of those. So what's the difference of what's happening now? And what's the difference of what's coming? It's nothing when it comes to you, because really, you made it through everything. And I'm not to say that you made it through everything unscathed and that certain situations and circumstances have not had an effect on you, whether it's psychological, emotional, or otherwise. What I'm saying is that you made it. And there's been nothing that life has thrown at you thus far, the universe, what have you, that has completely broken you. And even if you are broken, you know, the rebuilding process is a beautiful thing. Whether you're talking about bones or that Japanese art, or the Chinese, is it Chinese or Japanese art of rebuilding broken pottery and different items by fusing it with gold, fusing the pieces back together with gold. Not only does it represent the beauty of something reconstructed, but it also represents the value of something reconstructed. Same thing with your bones. You break a bone, and when it heals, that broken part is going to be stronger than any other part of your bone. It just heals back more dense. What am I saying? You got this, is what I'm saying. I believe in you, you know. I appreciate you checking out the show. I understand why you check out the show. I understand why you check out content such as this. I'm very excited for you to reach the levels of achievement, completion, and success that you're looking for, that you desire, that you are working towards. And if there's anything that I could do to assist, as I said, admin at welcometothefoundation.com. I want to say that I appreciate y'all for checking out the show. As always, thank you very much. If it wasn't for y'all, I wouldn't be doing it. Just be honest. I'm still kind of taken aback at, you know, how this has grown and how it came to be, and, you know. So I really appreciate y'all, you know. So L, I really appreciate y'all. So with that being said, I trust y'all will have a great week. The remainder of your week, the weekend, and the things that will come after, up until next Wednesday when we do this dance again. I look forward to seeing you or hearing you or checking out that energy on the next show here at the Foundation on High Frequency Radio Network. As I said, I appreciate y'all checking out the show. Y'all enjoy yourself. Be good to yourself. Be good to other people. You know, even if they're being weird, be nice. You'll feel better later. Let people trip. It's offer and acceptance. Don't accept the bull. I'm not finna contract with you, weirdo. You down to execute this weirdo contract? You're just gonna walk out your house and someone's being weird in the street and stuff, being weird. You own it over there and gonna accept the weirdo contract? Watch out for them weirdo contracts. Don't accept them, so that you can have a more peaceful life. I appreciate y'all. And I'll catch y'all next week. So, yeah, as I usually say, enjoy yourself. Take care of yourself. Make sure you say 10 things that you are thankful for before you go to sleep tonight. And every night is very important. And I'll catch y'all next week. My name is Sot L, the host of the Foundation here on High Frequency Radio Network. It has been a pleasure. And I'll catch y'all next week here on High Frequency Radio Network. Appreciate y'all. Peace to the gods.
Doing this thing all the way live. High Frequency Radio.